All right, Sacred Creatrixers, I am really excited to share with you probably one of my favorite tools of moving energy in myself, and that's tapping. Tapping is also known as EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. And the premise of EFT or tapping is that you're tapping on points in your body that are connected to meridians. I mean, you've got meridian lines, all up and down your body, but you're tapping on specific points, kind of like acupuncture or pressure, to shift the energy that is happening. If you've ever taken like a yin yoga, then it's the same, almost the same thing, where we're tapping into points that either start, begin, or continue along the meridian pathway, which is a ancient Chinese way of understanding the medicine within the body, and energy, and how energy flows in the body. I love it. It's one of my go-tos, especially as a dancer. It has been invaluable in creating new relationships with the energetics of my body. And so has tapping. And so tapping, what we're doing is we are talking and speaking out loud on the problem that we have. So for instance, if I wake up today and I'm feeling lazy and I don't want to do anything, then what I would be tapping on is, even though I feel like shit, even though I don't want to do anything, I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. So there's an element of self-talking, and not even just self-talking, but speaking the problem out loud to expel it out of our body, to then come back in the space that all of this has been expelled out, to reprogram and re-energize and call in the thing that we are wanting. So if I'm feeling lazy, then I am wanting to probably call in more energy. I'm wanting to call in inspiration. I'm wanting to call in maybe, some just movement or forgiveness. And so we can't get to this point of calling in all of these things if we're still holding in this hand all the things that we're feeling bad about. I'm hungover, or, I made bad choices. Like, we can't call in while we're still with this other hand holding on to these things that aren't serving us. And so tapping helps us release and expel and express those things, and we say it out loud to literally get them out of our body. And then we call in that which we want. And so the premise of tapping, like one of the, I guess, if you can call it like a script, is whatever it is, even though whatever it is, I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. And so that is just even saying that without tapping into, tapping on any of the points, is so fucking medicinal. How many times have we told ourselves, have we ever said to ourselves, hey self, regardless, despite, even though I've made bad choices, even though I don't always do what I say I'm going to do, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. That is fucking medicine, right? Deeply and completely loving, accepting, and forgiving ourselves is fucking medicine. Add that on top of tapping on these points. It really, it's the same idea that I shared in our movement medicine bag and our journaling medicine bag, it's coming to this with the intention of what it is we're trying to move. Like magic is all about that intention, the stuff that we do on the internal, that if I was recording a video showing you how I do magic, like you would be like so fucking bored, because it has nothing to do with these tools. It has everything to do with the things that are moving and shifting, and I'm calling and releasing and expanding and exploding inside me. It has nothing to do with what is happening out there. And so tapping and journaling and movement, when we bring that kind of like to it, it's going to move shit. Any tool can move shit. It's just picking which tool you feel the most called to at that particular time. Went off on a little tangent, but circling all that back to tapping, what we're doing when we are speaking, expelling our demons, speaking out our demons, is we're releasing that energetic, and we are making space to then call in. And so deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself medicine, even in that. And then what we typically do is I normally tap off the cuff. Sometimes I have scripts. I will be making a tapping video exclusively for my Sacred Creatrix Coven. You're actually going to get more than just one tapping because it's such a powerful tool, but I just want to give you a quick walk down and rundown. So the way that I tap, and there's so many ways and manners in which to approach EFT. I'm going to share with you the way that I use it the most. So I will sit down. I will use, this is often called the karate chop, because it's where you go, hi-ya. It's the place where you would go, ah. And so you would use your non-dominant hand, would be the hand that you would do the karate chop. And sometimes I switch just because I like to flip the script on myself, and tapping on a different point that you're not used to also has its own energetic shift. So pick whichever one you want. And if you have limited mobility, do what you can. So the first is tapping on this karate chop, and you're just setting up the problem, the issue, the thing you're trying to work through. So, okay, I'm just going to give you a quick example. I am feeling so lazy today. I woke up this morning. I didn't want to do anything. And I felt at the same time so overwhelmed with what is going on, everything I have to do. And all I wanted to do was just sit in front of the TV, watch reruns of Gossip Girl, and pet my dog. Even though I am feeling this way, even though I'm feeling like shit, even though I don't want to do anything, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself. And so I'll keep doing that until I really feel into the problem, until I feel like I'm charged by the thing that I am trying to clear out. Now, here's kind of the caveat. Sometimes you don't need it. Sometimes you're already, you come to tapping fully charged, and I've done this too, and you're like, I don't even need to do the karate chop point because I am in it. I am so fucking in it. And so there's no hard and fast rules in tapping. The only hard and fast rule is listening to what your energetic needs are. So normally I start in the karate chop point if I need to kind of feel into it. Other times, if I'm fully in it, I will go directly to the tapping points. And I just want to move this to make sure I don't hit anything. Okay, so I'm going to show you the points to tap on. So the first point is the crown of the head. And I use two hands for all of it because I like the balance that it brings. But again, if you have limited mobility and you can only use one hand, that works as well. I do that whenever I'm driving. So whenever, you're in a place where you can only use one hand, or again, limited mobility, one hand is beautiful. Any point that you do is going to shift more than no points. So always keep that in mind. So the first point is the top of the head. The second point, I'm going to take off my glasses. So the first point is the top of the head. The second point is the place right here where your eyebrows meet. The third point are the temples right here. And you can you can feel it. Like there's a bone pushing right up here. Point number, what's that, 1, 2, 3, is right here underneath. It's kind of like the fleshy part of your cheek. Point number 4 is the bridge right here. Point number 5 is right here where your your chin dips. And then point 6 is right here. It is your clavicle, your collarbone. There's a little fleshy part right here. It's like in between this bone and where the top part of your chest starts. So right here. And then the next is on the side. So if I were wearing a bra, it would be right here where the strap meets, or right about, what is that, like 3 inches underneath your underarm. So right here. And some people will use just one hand. I use both because, again, I like to have that symmetry and synergy. And then the last point I use are the wrist here. And so that would be one full round of tapping. So we would go top of the head, here, side of the eyes, temple, fleshy part of the cheeks, under the nose, dip in the chin, your save buttons, side, and wrist. And what we're doing when we're doing this is we're talking through the problem, sometimes more, if we're feeling like we need to. But usually when I get to this point, I'm feeling really aligned, like ready to call in what I'm trying to call in. And so I would have a script. So using what I was using before about being lazy. Even though I woke up this morning and I wasn't feeling good about myself, I have a fucking amazing life. Like every morning I get to wake up. I have the privilege of waking up and doing the work that I'm called to do. Every day that I wake up, my time is my own. And that's fucking rad. That's amazing. And I know that I am not going to feel like this all the time. I'm not going to hold the expectation that I have to feel like this all the time. But today, I really don't want to take for granted or lose sight of the fact that I have a fucking amazing life. And so I would continue going on. And there's a point in which, for me, how I know if I'm tapping with myself and I'm not doing like a guided tapping with someone else, there is a point in which you kind of feel an internal sigh. So it almost feels like but inside your body. And that's how I know when it's time for me to stop, that I've cleared it out. And sometimes, like, I'll do it once and that's all I need. Sometimes I'll have to tap multiple times. You can't tap, too much, I don't think. But what I'm trying to do, or what I'm doing when I'm tapping, is I am clearing out, cleaning out the mental crap chatter, the excuses, and any other bullshit that is not serving me, to make space for that which I'm calling in. And even just that, like, little tapping that I didn't wake up feeling lazy, like, but just even that example in tapping, like, I feel invigorated. And also, but in also all, tapping is going to affect your energy in different ways. Some people get really tired when they tap. Some people get reinvigorated. I know I do. It really just depends on what it is you're tapping on. Bigger tapping topics like money, I get tired. Like the things that are generational, the things that, you know, I have are stories and conditioning that I have, I get tired. And so if you start using this tool and you're tired, give yourself the space to rest. Really give yourself the room to listen to what you and your body needs. Again, you and your energy. Also, recommend drinking a lot of water, like yin yoga, like journaling, like movement. You are moving energy. And so it's like getting a good massage. You know, you drink a lot of water to move the toxins, to move all that crap out of your system. Toxins. And so that is tapping. And there's also, again, it really just depends. There's a bunch of different ways that you can enter tapping. And if I'm working on something, so if I'm like, let's just take money. If I am tapping on my relationship to money, my stories about money, my generational trauma about money, if I'm working on a specific thing, then, and it's something that I know or that I feel is going to need like multiple tapping, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Again, I don't want you to come in with any kind of like preconceived idea of it's going to take a really long time, because change happens in an instant. If we're in the receptive state of where it can be, that's a whole nother video. It's a whole nother thing. But so I like to sometimes take a range of where I'm at, like when I'm entering into tapping for the first time. So taking the lazy, I feel lazy this morning and I don't want to do anything, on a scale of 1 to 10, like how am I feeling about it? Like, am I really like, you know, feeling just, bad, awful, which would be a 10. And then a 1 would be I'm not feeling it so much. So you gauge where you're at on a range of 10 to 1. Before you start tapping, you write that number down. So say I was feeling an 8. In that energy of feeling lazy and not wanting to do anything, I do my tapping, however long it takes. And then when I come out of that cycle of tapping, I go back to my scale and I ask myself the same question on a scale of 1 to 10, how am I feeling about how much energy do I feel? Am I still feeling lazy? And our goal is to move down the number. So after I did that round of tapping, I started at an 8, but now I'm feeling like a 4. And you know what? 4 is good enough. 4 is better than 8, right? And so a 4 is a place that I can go and I can, I feel energized enough that I can go do something. Again, it's not about energy and doing something. It's about shifting down the scale and feeling better. So if you're at an 8 and after tapping, you're still at a 7, you come back and you're like a 7, well, maybe go try again, going deeper, like seeing what nooks and crannies and cracks that you didn't really go into because maybe you were afraid, or maybe it's a shadow side of yourself, but really going into those crevices and corners and shadows. So that is what tapping is. And I would love to invite you to do a round of tapping. Make up your own script. You can Google tapping. I first heard about tapping from Denise Dubfield Thomas, and then I looked at Brad Yates. I've also done some tapping with Gala. But tapping really became medicinal for me when I started working with it with magic and medicine, which was under the mentorship of my first medicine mentor, Asha Frost. And so I really want you to explore all the different ways and avenues and points and entry points that you can tap into, no pun intended, but you know, that you can use to access tapping, and then feel into which kind of vibe feels good for you. Again, like I said, sometimes the tapping is, you'll see people tapping in different places, right? And then some people don't do the wrist. And so I really want you to look at and feel into what feels good for you, what shifts the energy in you, because I can tell you till I'm blue in the face, but this is what works for me. I want you to find what pattern, rhythm, techniques move the energy for you. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and be looking for some tapping videos to be dropping. Now that you know the points, some of them will be videos, some of them will be audio. Especially, I do a lot of audio. I record a lot of the tapping that I do for myself, so I'll be sharing those as well. So if you just need a refresher on the points, you can start the video right here at this time mark. And the points are, if you want to set up here at the karate chop, setting it up deeply, completely, love and accept and forgive myself. And then the points are top of the head, eyebrows, temples, underneath the eye, underneath the nose, the chin, your save buttons, the sides where your bra strap would be, and your wrists. And I love tapping with my eyes closed. There's something about going internal and feeling into the energy that really helps me move it. Try it all different ways. Try it with your eyes closed. Try it with your eyes open. Try it looking around. Try all the ways and see what feels good to you. I am so excited. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you inside Sacred Creatrix.